This is a case involving an IOL exchange, an iris sutured IOL, and a DSAEK. A temporal limbal peritomy is first accomplished, followed by the creation of a scleral tunnel of approximately 7 mm in width. A superior paracentesis is then created, through which helon is injected to maintain the anterior chamber. A keratome is then used to enter the anterior chamber through the scleral tunnel and extended for the full width of the incision. The AC IOL is then removed and a careful vitrectomy is performed. The three-piece IOL is then inserted into the anterior chamber, and the haptics are oriented in a superior-inferior position, and a CT C6 needle is used to suture the superior haptic to the mid-peripheral iris. A loop is carefully brought out of the eye through the paracentesis wound, and the knot is then pulled into the anterior chamber and secured in a 3-1-1 fashion. The inferior haptic is then placed behind the iris, keeping the optic anterior to the iris, and the same process is accomplished in the inferior haptic. Descemet's membrane is then scored for 360 degrees and carefully removed from the eye using the reverse Sinskey hook. 4 venting incisions are made in the 4 quadrants, and irrigation is performed with the vitrector to remove all helon from the anterior chamber. An anterior chamber maintainer is then placed superiorly, and attention is turned to the donor graft, which is punched with an 8.0 Barron punch. The tissue is then folded, and an S is placed on the stromal surface to verify adequate positioning. The graft is transferred to the Boussin glide and pulled into position with a 25 gauge ILM forceps made by Alcon. The graft is then pulled into the anterior chamber using the same ILM forceps. After the temporal incision has been sutured, the anterior chamber maintainer removed, air is injected into the anterior chamber with a cannula, and then a 30 gauge needle is used to complete the air fill of the anterior chamber. The conjunctiva is returned to the limbal position, and that concludes this case.